Hey, family, I want to talk to you about something. I want to get a little bit into talking about what's things that are going on in our world right now. And so, when you look at the Christian community, one of the things that's missing the most is somebody to speak to the issues of men. And so, one of the things that we're seeing is that in the secular world, people like Kevin Samuels, Tommy Sotomayor, Fresh and Fit, Abba and Preach, you got a lot of people out there who are speaking to the issues of men. And when you look at that red pill or that manosphere, there's a lot of good things that they're saying, but there's also some cautions that we need to take towards it. So what I want to do in this video is talk about 8 things that we can learn from that sphere of influence, or what I would call prophets of this current age, because they got a lot of insight into things. From a secular point of view, they do say a lot of wise things. And so let's look at some things that you can learn from them, especially in the church. Number 1 is this. They teach about respect for male authority. Now, one of the reasons that the church is suffering so much is because of a lack of respect for male authority. And one of the reasons that this happens is because we have a lot of men who are raised by women. And so what happens is they don't see a man checking them the way that I would see a man checking me. My father raised me. So what happened was I'm used to a man telling me something critical, who is not my peer. He's my father. He speaks to me and he's blunt about things. He'll say, hey, boy, that's stupid, or that looks sissy, or that's weak, or you shouldn't hold your books like that, or you shouldn't dress like that. He's very direct, and he corrects me without apology. That's what fathers do. Now, with men who don't have fathers, the problem is when men criticize them, they treat it the same as when you go to school and somebody criticizes you. It's a form of either bullying or checking, and it checks their manhood. It makes them rise up in defense. So they are harder to correct, they're harder to deal with, and oftentimes they're more sensitive. So one of the things that's good about the manosphere is that it teaches a respect for male authority. It's something that is absolutely necessary in the church. Remember, Ephesians 4 says, when God created the church, he gave gifts. And what did he give? He gave men. The second thing I think it does is it takes women off a pedestal. Now, one of the things about the Simone Biles story that was really troubling was this. It wasn't so much that she quit, even though that bothered me as a former athlete. One of the things that bothered me the most was that there was nothing she could do that she would not be praised for. So if she quit, she's praised. If she tries, she's praised. And what you really learn from that is there's nothing that she could have did where she wouldn't have been praised. If a woman is fat and she's okay with that, she's praised. If she's fit, she's praised. We need to stop that. And what we need to do is go to number 3. And the third thing that the manosphere does is it holds women accountable. So there are lots of silly things that our culture in general has done and that feminism has done to the man. And they need to be held accountable for that. So women need to be held accountable for a single parent household. That's not just men, right? Women are not just having babies on their own. Men are not just imputing them with children. These women are purposefully getting pregnant a lot of times. And so what's happening is the manosphere is holding women accountable, and that's becoming popular because men don't see that. The fourth thing is that it talks in faith-based language. Now, when you talk to a lot of manosphere people, or when you see a lot of those videos, they'll say things like have an abundance mindset or don't have a scarcity mindset. And what they really mean and what they did is they stole that language from biblical leaders. Really what we say is don't have a spirit of fear or have a faith-based mindset. And so what they've done is they've taken our language and inserted their own things in it. But in reality, men should have a faith-based mindset. We should be eliminating the spirit of fear. We should be fighting the spirit of fear, and we should be fighting in a spirit of faith, believing that God will bless the honest effort that men make. The fifth thing is a desire for traditionalism. You can't help but see this. When you see men bemoaning the fact that women are sleeping around, or that women want a man that makes 6 figures, or that women are not getting married, what you get is there's a yearning for traditionalism. Now, they don't know exactly how to put that, but the truth is what they want is what God created in the garden. God created man, and then he gave man woman. Woman was to be his helpmeet. So when you talk about God creating man, he created man in such a way that he would be a leader of his home, and he created woman, beautiful woman, to be part of that life. And the two are supposed to be joined together. What the Bible also said in another part, a portion of the spirit in the union, meaning that God blesses that union with a miraculous tie. And so men desire that. Now they go way to the left on that when they talk about, basically sleeping with women and leaving them to cry about it. But the point is that when you talk about the manosphere, they yearn for that traditional relationship. The sixth thing is a focus on purpose. There are too many men out there who are focusing on nothing. Some men are focusing on playing video games. Some men are focusing on entertainment. Some men are focusing on getting sex. And then when you turn to somebody like an AMS, what you get is this view of this, that a man should be on his purpose. His purpose comes first. And a lot of times we've seen this even in the Christian community. When you look at the church, what is the church supposed to be? A lot of people will say it's about helping people. It does that, but that's not really its purpose. What its purpose is, it says in 1 Timothy 3, the church is the pillar and the buttress of the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is the gospel of Jesus Christ. So the church is the container of truth. And the purpose of the church is to proclaim that truth. And if the church is not doing that, then it's failing its job. So when you talk about what the purpose of the church is, it is not to make people feel good. It's to proclaim truth. And the Manosphere does that. And it's related to the seventh one. There's a focus on facts over feelings. The church can learn so much from this. But the point is this. When we go away from a rational faith, we innately will go to a feelings-based or myth-based religion. We make things up as we go, or we say we feel so many times. And when we feel things, we're not really trusting in what God's word says. The truth be told, I don't feel like I want hell to exist, but it does. So it really doesn't matter what I feel. What matters is reality. And then the last thing is that recognizing that society is broken. The Manosphere is true about that. Society is broken, and anywhere you can look, you can see that society is breaking down right around us. The West is in trouble. We see broken marriages. We see abuse. We see sexual abuse. We see crime on the rise. We see politicians are increasingly inept. And what we are seeing is this. Without God leading society, society breaks down. And that's just a natural fact of a world without God. So I want you guys just to put that in your head. The 8 reasons why you should pay attention to the Manosphere and 8 things that we can learn from that segment.